More than 19,000 Ukrainian children were illegally deported from the occupied territories by the terrorist country. And these are only those whose names are known. Entire orphanages and boarding schools were taken away, almost 4,400 orphans. According to human rights activists, they will be the most difficult to return because children are immediately given up for adoption and re-educated in the spirit of Russian propaganda. And even those who are sought by their parents change their citizenship and are placed in families. They are also mocked for the slightest mention of Ukraine.
Hello.
Hugs with the closest ones after months of separation, fear and moral pressure. These children have different stories, but share the same tragedy of being abducted by Russia.
Honestly, I didn't believe it, but I dreamed about it. And the first thing I said when I saw the Ukrainian flag, glory to Ukraine.
Kirilo and his grandmother had to flee Russia. The 12-year-old from Nikopol ended up there with his mother, who suddenly died. For several months, his grandmother begged the Russian social services to return the child, but they were banned from traveling abroad, so they decided to flee through Belarus.
They left me no other choice. They forced me to adopt my grandson, then they told me to take over guardianship, and then since I'm Ukrainian, not their citizen, I was not allowed to be given guardianship. I had only one option, to live with volunteers and my grandson, either to win or lose, but Ukrainians never lose.
Currently, 19,500 minors are known to have been deported to Russia, said Daria Herasimchuk, Ukrainian ombudsman for children's rights. There is a list of names compiled on the basis of statements from relatives, authorities or witnesses. The Kremlin claims that 744,000 Ukrainian children have been so-called evacuated, but this figure has not been confirmed, Herasimchuk said. Moscow does not hide the fact that they are not going to return the children, testifying themselves to their crimes.
Our main result is the children of Donbas who have been hosted by our families. When the evacuation of children's institutions in different regions began, at a meeting with the president, I suggested hosting children who have citizenship by our families. And he said to me, why only those who have citizenship? We need all of them.
According to the official, 380 Ukrainian children have already been adopted in Russia. At the same time, she openly lies that those who have parents are not given up for adoption. 12-year-old Matvey from Mariupol and his two sisters almost ended up in a Russian family, while their father was held in prison in Olenivka.
Do you want to go to a foster family or into an orphanage? Well, until your dad takes you away. Chose, they insisted. I said I wouldn't give an answer until I contacted my dad. I called him and 3 days later he came to Moscow.
Russian ombudsperson for children's rights adopted a teenager who was abducted from Mariupol, 16-year-old Filip Holovnya. The boy's aunt, who was his legal guardian, probably died in a Russian filtration camp, and Filip ended up in a sanitarium in a Moscow region.
Did you adopt a child from Mariupol?
Yes,
yourself?
thanks to you.
A small one?
No, 15 years old. Now I know what it's like to be a mother of a child from Donbas.
The official also tells Putin how much she loves her adopted son, but for some reason she is mistaken about his age. There is a lot of interesting information about her in the Russian media. She has 17 children and people with disabilities under her care. She forced adults to take out loans and patronized 2 nursing homes for the disabled in the city of Pemza, where residents mysteriously died. We cannot verify this information, but the abduction of Ukrainian children is a proven fact. And it was the ombudsperson's conversation with the dictator that became the main evidence against them. On March 17th, the criminal court in Hague issued an international arrest warrant for Putin and Lvova Belova for the illegal deportation of Ukrainian children.
It is forbidden by international law for occupied powers to transfer civilians from the territory they live in to other territories. Children enjoy special protection under the Geneva Convention.
The deported children who were returned to Ukraine say that they were threatened with isolation, boarded in schools, beaten with sticks, and taken away in an unknown direction for shouting "Glory to Ukraine." They were told that their parents had abandoned them.
Russia's abduction of Ukrainian children is a crime against our country. It will have a devastating impact on Ukraine for many years to come, according to the report released by the US State Department.
The report provides evidence of the Russian government's systematic efforts to sever communications between the taken children and their relatives at home in Ukraine, prevent the children's return to Ukraine, and re-educate them to become pro-Russia. Mounting evidence of Russia's action lays bare the Kremlin's aims to deny and suppress Ukraine's identity, history, and culture. The devastating impacts of Putin's war of Ukraine's children will be felt for generations.
However, Russia itself does not recognize the illegal deportation of children or the decision of the Hague Court. In response to the warrant, State Duma Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin proposed to introduce responsibility in the country for facilitating and supporting of the International Criminal Court. The terrorist country has not signed the Rome Statute, and the ISIS's jurisdiction does not apply to it. However, 123 countries, including Russia's allies, have ratified the statute and are obliged to immediately arrest Putin and Lvova Belova on their territories.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Latest news, trends, and analytics on all about Ukraine. Like, share, and subscribe. Any questions, proposals, and comments, contact us via email.